You're listening to Dads, Diapers, and Drinks. 3 dads trying to lead their families well in a crazy world. So grab a drink, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hey everybody, welcome back to Dads, Diapers, and Drinks. I'm your host, Scott.
And I'm Nathan.
And I'm Jeff.
This is episode 30.
It is.
It's the big 3-0.
It's fantastic.
And yeah, it's the new year. It is now 2022. This is probably the least excited I've been for a new year, honestly. I don't know if you guys can relate. I don't know. I am kind of excited 2021 is over, and I'm hopeful that things can be good. 2022 can be good. I think personally, for my own life and my family, things will be good. In terms of like the broad scale, the world, I don't know. I hope things get better. That's what I'm not as optimistic about. But
I am personally, so I am weirdly optimistic about 2022. I've been a pessimist about every next year for like 5 years, but for me, I'm genuinely optimistic about this year because I really do think the tide is really swinging dramatically. I think our culture is quite done with what's been going on for the past 2 years. Finally, I thought this was going to happen in May of 2020, but here we are coming into 2022, and I think most people are looking around and going, I am not cool with the status quo right now.
I'm not cool.
No, so yet. So I don't know. I'm sensing a change in the winds, and it has me optimistic about this next year. And then personally, I'm really excited about this year because by the end of it, Kelly will be 3.5. And maybe we'll be on the tail end of the terrible 2 years of toddlerhood. So it's like, this is going to be the tough one. We're going to get through it. We're going to get through this year, and then it's going to be uphill from here. That's kind of like the mentality we have, is kind of grunted out through this next 2022. Nothing but better. So
well, I'm optimistic for 2022 purely for the fact that there was so many things that went wrong in 2021.
Yeah, I don't think you can have a worse year.
Uphill is only the direction it can go. I'm gonna just hope that is the reality. So, I mean, it's been great so far. I mean, we've got a solid 2 days under the belt. Liking it so far.
So far,
no complaints. But yeah, it's been good stuff.
Sorry, I just realized I wanted to start a timer.
You're all good.
And I never stopped my old timer, so I was at 640 something hours.
Oh my word!
Banger podcast.
Yeah, that's a marathon. That's many marathons right there.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Nathan and I are drinking.
Oh yes.
I forgot to bring the bottle down. It's Elijah Craig.
Yes.
It's a bourbon.
It's whiskey bourbon is what it says on the bottle.
Yes.
I don't know.
All bourbon is whiskey.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's a special. It's a whiskey bourbon.
Tastes very good.
Elijah Craig is good stuff.
It is.
Yeah.
I am enjoying it.
I bought it on Friday to make old fashions.
Nice.
And this is what they recommended in the store.
Yeah.
Shout out to Joe D's Beverage.
Yeah.
Right on the corner of Wallings and State.
Head there now. Tell them Scott sent you.
Yeah, that's right. You will get no discounts whatsoever because they have no idea I exist.
They'll probably forget who that Scott. Who's Scott? Yeah. From Dad's Diapers and Drinks, you know. They're like, what?
Is he the guy who didn't know what bitters was?
Yeah,
that's me. Yeah,
I don't really know what bitters is other than really bitter.
It's just a bitter fluid. I don't know.
It's I think it's supposed to be mainly like olfactory, like scent kind of. It's just very concentrated scents and flavorings.
Don't ever try it directly. I'll tell you that much. It's not good.
I bet. Did you do that?
Yeah, because like whenever I've made old fashions, I just buy like an old fashioned mix, which is bitters and simple syrup mixed. Yeah, because it's easier that way. And I had my friend Ben over, and he was like, "Nah, we're making old fashions the right way." So he made his own simple syrup. He had bitters, and I was like, "I've never had direct bitters. I just need to try it." So I took a little dip and licked it. Not good. Doesn't taste good.
Better in the drink.
Today I learned.
It's just really like tart and bitter. It's just like it's weird. It's like not meant to be ate or consumed directly ever.
It's not meant to be ate.
It ain't meant to be ate. Yeah, something like that.
Oh golly. What about you, Jeff? What you got in the glass?
I have switched it up. I am drinking one of my favorite wines, which is a Malbec, which is a very, very rich red wine. It is my kind of favorite right now. So
nice.
Solid.
We had it with dinner, and I was like, I need another drink for the podcast. And I was like, you know what? I'm just having another glass of wine because I enjoy it very much.
Stick with it.
How was your New Year's Eve?
Oh, yeah.
You were down in Cincinnati.
Columbus.
Oh, I thought you said Cincinnati. Whatever.
Yeah,
Columbus.
I said Columbus. Yeah, whatever. So I have a...
Well, you said that today. Keep
going. So I have one set of siblings in Cincinnati and one set in Columbus, and then we're in Cleveland. So we decided the brother and sister-in-law in Columbus said, hey, we're going to host a New Year's party. And it was actually really convenient. Driving to Columbus is like not a big deal. I feel like 10 years ago, if I was 18 or 16 and you said, hey, it's a 2.5 hour drive, I was like, yo, that's a long drive. And now it's like, oh, it's a 2.5 hour drive. Cool. I'll put on a podcast and I'm happy. This is like the best part of my day. I'm just driving, listening to a podcast. I'm like, this is good. So
it's a very manly kind of thing. You're like, I just want to do this one linear task.
I just love to sit in silence.
Just want to focus on my one thing while I'm listening to it, and I'm going to get there. Done.
So that was great. It was very nice, basically, to go there. And it was a lot of fun. It had I've actually got an interesting story. One of the people that was there was a friend of my sister's, and her husband is a military guy. He works at one of the military bases in Ohio, and he's a technician on the heavy machinery, like the big vehicles. Yeah. And he was kind of ranting how his wife is a Democrat, and he still hasn't told her that he voted for Trump in 2020.
Oh man.
And he's great. like, it's not that I'm a conservative person. I'm not conservative really on any social position.
Yeah.
But between the candidates, Biden was like openly saying that he's going to cut pay to the military. And he's like, I hadn't gotten a raise in the military ever until Trump was in office. And he gave us a raise of $200 every year. The only raise I've ever gotten. And he's like 40. He's like, I've been doing this like 15 years.
$200 a year?
Oh, my word.
$200 a month raise. Sorry, $200 a month.
Okay, that's a lot better.
So he got that every year.
Small amount of money. You shouldn't be super happy about a $200
I know, that's a joke. No. But he got a $200 a month raise at all 4 years that Trump was in office. Nice. And he's like, Biden shows up and says, oh, that's not happening. We're not expanding the military budget. And he's like, dude, what? Like, come on. There's literally nowhere. I can't go up my chain in the military anymore. I'm already like the lead guy at this place. I just am never going to make another dollar than this. It's like, that's garbage. Yeah. So he said literally the fact that Trump was pro-America and pro-troops. And he's like, the guys that I work with would lay down their lives for this country in a heartbeat. We are all the cook, the janitor, me, all of us. We signed up because we're willing to put our lives on the line for this country. And to just talk crap about us on the debate stage, it's like, I was done. I was like, I don't care about anything else. Screw this guy. You are not getting my vote. He's like, I still haven't told my wife.
Some things you can't let go.
I'm telling you, that's why like the wind is like, that's cool to me. That just like, people, don't crap on the country. Don't crap on the service people. The people who are literally signed up and said, if you send me to another country to fight for you, I will. It's like, he signed that. He didn't end up doing it. He works on machinery here in the States, but like he was willing. It's like, don't crap on that guy. Of all the people to crap on, not that one. Come on.
Yeah.
So it was just fascinating. That was really interesting.
Funny.
Yeah, it kind of goes to show that most people, maybe not most, but a lot of people really are single issue voters, you know? They're voting for what will benefit their lives the most. And for him, while he would never vote Republican otherwise, Biden obviously wasn't going to do what he wanted, so he voted the other way.
Yeah.
So for me, when I hear people voted for, well, I'll just come out and say it. I voted for Trump, and we've got other family members who voted for Biden, and I just think, how? Like, what?
I know.
Why? I don't understand what the appeal was. I know no one likes Trump's character. Yeah, no, I'm not voting for a guy for his character. I don't care if he's a jerk. I care about his policies. I care about how good he actually does at the job. So I think Trump was better suited for it. And Trump versus Hillary was
Well, that
both of the past ones have just been like,
I would never.
This is
I'm not
the two.
voting. I'm not voting for Trump again. I didn't vote for him in the primaries ever.
I know. I've tried to primary him both times.
But when it becomes this binary choice, I've got right-wing policies versus left-wing policies. I prefer the right-wing policies, you know? So I don't care about the guy or the woman. That doesn't matter to me. It's all policy. So when I think people in our family who voted for Biden are probably looking more at Trump's character or something they just really hated about Trump rather than...
I mean, but that's not, I mean, we're going to get away from politics here.
I know we should. And I have a story to tell too.
I'm just saying, like, that just goes to show, this whole, I've completely forgotten what I was going to say.
That's okay.
I hate that.
It happens to me all the time.
Oh, well, it's not that important.
All right.
Anyway, that was my New Year's. It was very good. Had that real interesting conversation with the one guy who wasn't a family member there. I ended up chatting with because he wanted to go outside and smoke cigars. And I was like, hey, I'd love to. So we ended up outside smoking cigars and chatting. It's like, if you ever wanted to get to know me, that is the way to do it. So
absolutely. You are held hostage by what you have in your hand.
Yeah.
You can't even go inside if you wanted to. Oh, story. I want to hear your story.
Yeah. So you guys may know that Kelsey and I have chickens.
Yes.
Or should I say
had no
yeah
the chicken fortress.
Yes, the fortress has been vacated. They have not been laying eggs for months. And we just ran out of chicken food, and we looked at each other and we're like, I don't want to go buy more food. We're keeping them alive for no reason. So I called Dad and I said, hey, back when we had chickens when I was in high school, I remember you had to do away with one who had deformed feet and was immobile. So think you could do that again times 8?
Come and help me out.
So he said, sure. And he came over yesterday and he and I, we grabbed a log. We locked ourselves in the coop with the chickens.
That's what they're all just sitting there.
I grabbed them one by one, held their feet, held their wings, and placed their head on the
chopping block.
Dad took a swing, and we did it 8 times. I wish it only took 8 swings.
Oh man!
In total, it was probably 24 swings.
Woof.
I don't know. I'd say the chickens were dead by swing 1 every time, but he was trying to get a full cut. You know, his axe could have been sharper.
Did you give them all like capital punishments, like for your crimes against the coop?
For your crimes of not producing
public indecency, kicking
stealing
over
food from your sister,
pooping in the food dish.
Yes.
These crimes are written. Do you have anything to say for yourself? No. Go on. Who's next?
Eat my tail feathers.
Oh my gosh.
So
what a horrific day.
I know. I was the holder, and as you know, when something dies,
they spaz.
Their muscles go nuts.
Absolutely.
And it was there's blood flying everywhere. The wings are flapping like crazy, and there's no head on this damn chicken. There's blood just squirting out of.
Oh my word!
Yeah, it was pretty gruesome. Yeah,
there is your best. Video games are desensitizing the youth. It's like kill a chicken. Oh my gosh! Yeah,
and honestly, I got over it. I was really nervous for the first chicken, but then we just did it, and I was like, that wasn't that bad, I guess. So I rounded up 7 more. Kept going.
Did you eat? Are you actually gonna eat in the chickens, or are they past the point where they're like usable for food?
They're past the point. You have to clean them immediately, I think. So, like, I was watching YouTube videos earlier in the day of like, how the heck do you do this? And they would kill them and then literally put they'd gut it. I watched this video. This nice young woman just like on a farm, just moderately attractive, and she just like walks up and slits the neck of this chicken and then starts gutting the thing. Like, oh my God.
Just ruthless.
What are you doing?
Why am I slightly turned on?
Yeah, she made it look like it was no big deal. So I was like, okay, I think I can do this. So yeah, but
Man.
yeah, we didn't clean them or anything. Dad and I dug a big hole and just dumped them in.
You're like, I am good for the violence for the next month. I'm good. I don't need any violence at all.
Yeah, but it's so nice not having to deal with the chickens in the winter.
Oh, I bet.
Dude, that was the worst part of having chickens.
Yeah, they're a big pain in the butt. And the water freezes. We don't have a good way of keeping their water not frozen. So, we're going to be better prepared for next season. Like we'll get new chicks again in March when they hatch. And then,
we got to make the water heater, the in the ground water heater system.
Yeah. Nathan and I did devise a big plan.
We did
for this fully like water pumped heated water filtering.
It's a low
world's
cost,
most advanced chicken
crazy.
coop
quality
continues.
solution.
We'll honestly probably just buy something, but anyway, that was the big event this weekend, and then we celebrated Nate Hill's 30th birthday. Shout out to Nate, what's up, dude? We went.
Use coupon code DDD Pod at the liquor store down the street from you.
We went to Wild Eagle, which was it was a good restaurant.
That's a cool place.
Nice.
I actually went there 2 weeks ago. It's really
really?
cool. Yeah, my family went there when they were in town.
Nice. Kelsey and I were just saying we should have your family.
I know.
Out here.
Well, the thing that we were saying is like
you order your food, then you go to the arcade and play games. And
Kelly was running around. Oh, Nate, if you haven't been, we totally have to go.
Like so much
Kelly
fun.
was running up and down like the skee ball thing.
Yeah. Kelsey literally said this would be a great place for Kelly to.
That's
run
why
around.
we went there.
Yeah.
There's like the ping pong game where you have to it's like beer pong, but they have little cups with a sensor in them, and if you make it in the cup, it goes boom and turns the lights off. Kelly played that like 12 times. She was that was their favorite thing in the world to throw ping pong balls into that cage. I was chasing them around the room while she was attempting to throw them into the little thing. It was great. It was really fun, and we had like all my nieces and nephews there, and it was really cool.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah, it's awesome. It has taps on the walls. There's like 25 different taps. And you just get a card and you can scan it and say, I'll put $5 of beer of this type into this cup.
Yeah.
Oh, is
really
it
cool place.
Like you just pull the lever and it just dispenses $5 of beer?
You control it, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, you don't. Yeah, until your cup overflows, pretty much. Yeah.
I didn't know they were like it was like preset or something. Like it knew how much a pint was.
It just measures how much is coming out.
And it just goes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It has to cut itself off. Otherwise, you could just stand there underneath the thing forever. But yeah, so we did that, and then we went to high voltage karting in Medina.
It's fun stuff.
Ooh.
So we did 2 races, and I didn't win, which was very disappointing.
I'm disappointed in you.
I blame the cart.
Question about high voltage. Do you think it is better than Boss Pro karting when we went for my bachelor party?
It's very comparable.
Very comparable? Okay.
I think I liked this track better.
Okay.
There was a little more variety to it, though I'm trying to remember what the...
I'm going to have to look it up.
It was pretty similar to the Boss Pro karting track, but
okay.
Yeah, it was fun. So it was a good night. It was a good night. And Kelsey and I, we got a babysitter for Davis, so we just got to go out without him.
Nice.
Which was fantastic.
Living it up.
Yeah. And today we just hung out with Mom and Dad. We went over to their house, and Davis forgot how to take a nap.
The best.
He malfunctions every time he's over
You're just
there.
like, and sleep,
Dude, the environment matters so much.
Yeah.
Like even Andy, who's only 6 months old, when we were down in Columbus, we had him in a pack and play. And normally these days he's pretty good if he wakes up, and Ellen fed him recently. We can ignore him and he'll get himself back to sleep. Did not happen when we were there. He just screams. And he's like, yeah, you're in a different room. It sounds different, smells different. You're like, he's just like, something's wrong. And it happens. It's bizarre how you don't really understand what conditions can do it, but sometimes it just doesn't work.
Like Davis does not put up a fight at all at home here. We put him in his crib and he knows I'm going to sleep now.
Yeah.
No screaming, no nothing. But at Mom and Dad's house, we tried, because you guys weren't there, the crib was available. So we tried putting him in the crib, screaming nonstop for 20 minutes. So Kelsey goes in. I grab the pack and play to set it back up in Mom and Dad's room, thinking that's what he's more used to. But the the damage was done by that point. So he ended up sleeping on Kelsey in the living room for like 20 minutes. But amazingly, he was kind of okay the rest of the night. So I don't know.
Good for him.
We got away with having a really sucky nap, and I'm pretty sure he's very conked out right now. So anyway, enough of that. We need to start talking about our topic because we're like 20 minutes into this thing.
Yes.
There's a lot to talk about. So we got a new year going on.
Yeah, big week.
So Jeff shared an article with the two of us from the Daily Wire. It's a study saying, well, I'll just read the title of this article. It says, young men are more likely than ever to stay jobless. Let me just go over there. There we go. Here's the article. Young men are more likely than ever to stay jobless or remain at parents' homes. So, yeah, we wanted to talk about this. So I'm just going to read it because it's very short, as you can see. So we're just going to read it real quick and talk about it. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I don't know what. Oh, no. What has happened here? I didn't mean to do that. Let me click that. There we go.
There it is.
Sweet. Federal data reveal that young men are more likely than ever to stay out of the labor force while living at their parents' homes. In the 1990s, 15% of 25-year-old to 34 men without a bachelor's degree lived with their parents. So I'm going to say that again. In the 90s, 15%, 25 to 34 years old, with no bachelor's degree, lived with their parents. So that's like not very many. Over the past 3 decades, the number has risen to 25%.
Okay.
For young men with degrees, living at home rates increased from 10% to 13%. Interesting. Through roughly the same period, all these videos are annoying. Through roughly the same period, labor force participation rates, the percentage of people who either have a job or are actively looking for one, have dropped from 93% to 87% among young men. So I got to say, these numbers, I don't know how alarming they actually are. Like I
wouldn't say alarming, but like
87% is still good. At least we're in the majority still.
Yeah.
More people would rather be working than not working, and that's a healthy majority. That's well above 50.
Yeah.
A growing percentage of young men without a bachelor's degree are living at home, summarized the Conference Board. This trend is contributing to a lower labor force participation, naturally. In an interview with the Daily Wire, Michael Foster, pastor of East River Church in Batavia, Ohio, I don't even know where that is, and author of It's Good to Be a Man, a handbook for godly masculinity, explained that low male engagement in the economy is at least partially explained by a departure from American society's embrace of manhood. I am inclined to agree with that. Men aren't going to flourish in any culture where they are taught to despise their masculine nature from a very young age. I agree. The energy of boys is subdued by overprescribed medicine. Their competitiveness is dulled by participation trophies. Their daring, risk-taking nature is drained from them by a society that worships at the altar of safetyism. Growing up in such a culture doesn't exactly feed the fires of masculine ambition. They are taught to be ashamed of their masculinity, he continued. Consequently, they retract into a virtual world of porn and games where they can live out twisted or reduced versions of their natural masculine desires. Amid these crushing cultural trends, parents are often not sure how to aid their sons. We're almost done. We're almost done. It's difficult to give disheartened and disillusioned men the desire to overcome the challenges of our time. I don't think most parents know what to do, Foster said. Many of them understand the economic difficulties, and so they allow their sons to stay at home. This, in turn, feeds a vicious cycle. After all, it's pretty emasculating for a grown man to depend on his parents for basic needs. Foster called for a return to the embrace of godly masculinity, which leads to the mutual flourishing of men and women. We've got to be done with the modern thinking which approaches the well-being of the sexes as a zero-sum game, Foster stated. The success of one sex doesn't undermine the success of the other. God made 2 sexes and called them both good. A world where masculine men flourish is a world where feminine women will flourish. We need to scream from the rooftops that yes, it's good to be a woman, but it's also good to be a man. That's step number 1. And that's the end of the article.
Yeah.
That final phrase is something I agree with so strongly.
Yes.
And something I've said before too, which is that I want masculine men and feminine women. Like that, my goal is those things. I really do like femininity a lot. It's almost like it's designed into my brain that I very much like femininity.
Yes.
So So, I don't know. The fact that needs to be stated is so odd.
I know.
Well, it's also being a man. It's difficult to see all of the past mistakes that fellow men have made in society in the repression of women in certain areas. But at the same time, to say that, oh, look at these terrible people, we need to just do away with it, it's the inverse. It's an overcorrection that is, destroying many young men's lives. Like it just is.
Right. So people have a big problem with, toxic masculinity being the dominating personality that gets you success in the workplace. But the solution has somehow been turned into, well, let's just make women more manly. Let's just...
Yeah, women should just do those same things.
Yeah. Apparently that's how you succeed.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think that's good for anybody. It's a tacit acknowledgement that men are naturally, predisposed to succeeding, and women are trying to go against their own nature just to get ahead. So I think that is a problem. Men should not be abusing their power in any way, or putting women down for any reason. But
well, it's also like in earlier societies, until the dawn of major technology and mechanical advancement, the only way to get things done was to take your arms, grab the thing, and do the thing with it. And as the sex that happens to have natural upper body strength,
bigger arms,
and just is pre-designed to be more physically stronger, obviously they're going to do more of the things. They're going to be the people out there building the railroads. They're going to be the ones building the skyscrapers.
Yeah.
They're going to do that. And so it's like, yes, the men were in control, and there was abuse of that control in many areas.
And that brought about a bunch of problems that needed to be solved.
And they are 100% valid at needing to be solved. But to go the flip side, it's like, I don't understand even that thought process of like, okay, well, women, you should just be more like men, and then, then you're going to advance. It's like, how much do you have to hate your own femininity to want to do that?
I know.
And it's like, there's only a very select few of women that even want to be there.
Right.
This is part of the gender wage gap argument, which compares the reason why, so it's like the 75 cents to the dollar, whatever the number is.
Yeah.
That they compared all women in the workforce versus all men in the workforce. And they said, look at how their actual argument was, look at how we undervalue what women do in the workplace. Yeah. Because they're saying we just pay more feminine jobs less money, and we pay masculine jobs more money. And that's wrong. And I was like, so that number got, of course, construed to be like a bunch of different things. Everyone's like, the people who work in my field make the same money. Like women who work in software development make the same as the men who work in software development. For the most part, there's probably some differences there too, but it's not that. There's plenty of women in my company that make way more money than me. But the argument you can make from that is jobs like nursery, people who run daycares, teaching young kids. We don't pay, that doesn't pay that much.
Yeah. Basic
level engineer pays way more. And entry level engineers are like 90-something% masculine. So it's like, we value the things that men bring to society financially more than what women do. And that is an interesting observation, at least, that, we don't pay nursery people that much. We don't value it. We say, look, you want to charge $200 a month. We go, that's a ton. It's tough.
I met a guy at Nate's party last night. One of Nate's friends who's also there, who quit his nursing job. He was a nurse, which is a female, mostly female job, mostly female workforce. And he started working at a steel mill in Cleveland. Like the big one you drive by that's got the flame shooting out of it.
Yeah.
He works at that one, and he makes stupid money.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's insane.
It's a super dangerous environment.
He said that too. He's like I'm around dangerous chemicals all day. I'm around molten steel every day. And I come home and I'm covered in dirt and soot, but I make a lot of money. So It's like women, nothing's stopping women from doing that, but
they're just not interested.
I know they're just not interested. We kind of talked about that in a previous episode too. Like if you want this equal outcome, equal representation across the board in all fields, you're going to run out of women who wanted to do certain jobs, and you're going to run out of men who want to do certain jobs too. Like I don't want to teach preschool. What if I get stuck doing that?
I would never want to teach kids.
Yeah. Women are naturally more nurturing than men are. So there are jobs that are better suited for that.
And I know you have this exact experience, but being married to someone who is inside of education, I have come to a way greater understanding of like the level of difficulty that they have to go through. And honestly, I think people that are in education are vastly underpaid for what they do.
We don't
specifically education from like the one, especially the education that everyone has to go through. Like not college. Like college is very specialized. It's like those professors obviously should be making a considerable amount of money if they're the experts in their field. But like for the education of just generally getting the general populace to be a okay member of society is like so underpaid that there's so much bare minimum going on. Like the amount of additional effort that even a lot of teachers want to put in, it's like if they don't really, like unless they genuinely care about their students, like have a true heart for it, it's like from a financial perspective, there's no incentive there.
And that's part of the economic structure of it, is that you know that the people who want to teach. You don't have to make them say, oh, they wouldn't do this job unless you pay them a ton. It's like, no, they'll do it for almost nothing. They actually care about kids and actually want to teach them. So you don't have to pay them a lot because they'll just do it. They
do get really good benefits.
They get good benefits. That's part of it. But you don't have to like arm and leg them to, like I joke with my job, I'm kind of golden handcuffed where I wanted to leave and they were like, we'll pay you a lot to stay. I was like, all right. You don't do that with teachers. Teachers are like, no, I love my job. I want to teach kids. And you're like, okay, we'll give you a $2 raise. They go, thank you.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, I wonder
you
how
don't
much
have
of that is.
You don't have the same factors in the business place there.
Right. Well, I know teaching jobs are very competitive as well. Like there are more
to get
people
in.
With, there are more people with teaching degrees than there are teaching positions available.
Which, again, there's more supply than demand, which pushes the price down.
Right. Teachers are, more desperate for a job than an engineer would be. Personally, I have a lot of options. I could go a lot of places.
I was talking with their dad about that. He's like, if you ever wanted to change jobs, you could. And I was like, yeah, there's probably people hiring.
So, and that's why Kelsey taught at a school 45 minutes away when we got married. Because she needed a job and that's the only one that was available and she got it. I don't know how many other applicants she beat out, but it's a highly competitive thing. So you can get away with paying them a lot less because they're so desperate for the job, and they're very replaceable. Right.
Anyway, a bit of a rant about the school system there.
I was going to say something that this article didn't even specifically talk about. It referenced it, I believe, but I think that there has become an acceptance of soft men in society.
Yes.
As a whole. And so that's partially why I think so many parents, it's like the only thing they can do is support their son. They're like, well, fine, we'll take you in, it's okay. It's okay that, you've failed or you didn't reach this thing that you wanted to reach or whatever. And okay, you can stay here, we're going to protect you because they still want to provide for you, especially mothers. My mother still wants to mother me and I'm almost 30. I'm like 3 years away. It's like right there. So it's like, that's still a reality in my life. And I was ambitious. I did go out and I got my license in aviation maintenance and I've been working in the field for 7 years now. And so it's like, I was one of those people and I still have a mother who wants to mother me. And so, how would you expect mothers to go against their nature to like kick their sons out? Like, I don't care about you anymore. Like, that's just not going to happen.
And that's something what kind of watched our parents kind of butt heads about at times. Where'd you go, Jeff?
Baby monitor went off. I didn't mute it.
Oh, I couldn't even hear it. So
yeah,
hopefully monitors it.
Yeah. I know that's something our parents struggled with. Just like I lived at home briefly after graduating college, and mom didn't want me to leave, but dad was like, he's got to go on his own eventually. So, and he's investing in a house, and it's a good financial move. And, he had all these good reasons for why it's good for me to get out. And it's just good for me personally just to not live with my parents. So,
and I would say in my personal story, that was a huge thing for me. Was I had enough wisdom to say I need to, because I had bombed out and failed so miserably at age 19. I was like, I can't do this sitting at home and getting my breakfast brought to me by my mom thing. I can't do this. I need to get out of, I need to get out of here. It was like the feeling I had. I had this deep feeling of I need to get out of here. I can't do this living at home thing. I'm just going nuts. And I had an opportunity to move into a house in Kent where if I didn't flunk out of college, I was supposed to live there with 3 other guys who were all enrolled. But I flunked out of college. So I was like, look, I'll still live with you guys, but I'm just going to work. And they're like, that's fine with us. So then I moved to Kent, and I didn't go on the Kent. I wasn't a student, but I lived there, which was kind of fun because I still went to I basically was in college for another year.
Right.
Socially.
You get to do all the fun college things.
I got to do all the fun stuff without being a student. It was kind of nice.
Right. Not a bad way to go.
But I would say that moving out, and then I moved out of the house. I started dating my now wife, and I started to build a little life for myself. And it's all the little things. Like your mom has to call you to say, hey, are you going to come home for this thing happening? And you go, oh, yes, I will. And then you have to plan, how am I going to get my lazy butt up, showered, pack clothes, drive to my parents' house, which is 45 minutes away, and then spend the night there and then come back home. It's just basic crap that forces you to be responsible, doing your own laundry, shopping for yourself, all those menial things. I needed that stuff to get me moving, or I would have just sat in my parents' bedroom and played Rocket League until I died, because that's literally what I was doing.
Yeah.
So it was I needed to get kind of pushed out. And there's a word that this article uses, which is the safetyism. And
yes.
I that one to me is big. I was just not going to do anything unless I was forced to do it. And if I was just at home where it's safe and everything's easy, I would have stayed. I needed risk to get me moving.
Right. Yeah. And it was a little easier for me to move out because mom and dad were charging me rent.
Yes. So here's the solution. Make them pay the same.
Right. I was already paying, and it was very low rent. I'll give them that. And I got meals made for me and all that stuff. So it was still a good gig, but it was honestly, it was good for them to charge me rent because that just forced me to look for something else quicker. It's like I might as well be, if I'm paying down a mortgage rather than paying down your mortgage.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I know that I recruited you and David to come live with me, so you guys are paying down my mortgage.
The best.
So I did the same thing.
That was such a fun time, though. That was such a fun area.
Yeah. We had the theater room. Nathan went nuts and got us a
ballistic
7.1 surround sound, really good speakers. And
movies in there, or watching Game of Thrones in there.
Projector screen.
So good.
Yeah, we had Game of Thrones nights. It was a good time. But yeah. Then everyone got married and we all moved out, and
now we just talk on a podcast.
That house was the pivot. We all lived in our parents' house. We went there. We all met our wives, got married, and left.
All of you. That's crazy. All of you did that too.
Done.
Yeah. That's how it went.
It's pretty fantastic.
David moved out a little sooner because he wanted to save a little bit more money. So he moved back in with his parents for a little bit there. But then
now he's married in North Carolina.
Now he's married in South Carolina.
South Carolina?
Yeah. Yep.
Yes. Nate's in North Carolina.
They're all in South Carolina.
They're all in South Carolina. I'm stupid.
Yeah.
Yes. Outside of Greenville. Anywho. Yeah, that safetyism sentence. I'll reread the sentence. Their daring, risk-taking nature is drained from them by a society that worships at the altar of safetyism.
That is so unbelievably true in the past 2 years.
Yes, especially in this COVID world where your safety is our top priority. F off. Let me take my own risks, man. Jeez, you can't. That might be what infuriates me so much about it. Yeah. There's something about my manness that is being violated.
Yeah.
Seriously, there's something.
Bro, if I want to jump off this rock, I'm jumping off the rock. You do not get to stop me.
If I don't want to wear a mask, I'm not wearing a mask. If I don't want to get vaccinated, I'm not getting vaccinated. You can't mandate this crap on me. So there's like this natural risk-taking, daredeviling, defiant spirit that I have in me that just really despises the government at the moment.
Dude, Nate, this always makes me think about, I'm seriously so unbelievably grateful for you dragging me to the freaking abandoned hotel. I still talk about that being one of the most daring things I've ever done. That was so amazing.
It was probably an unwise decision, but it was definitely part of the boyish.
It's the thing you have to do as a young man. You need to do something crazy.
I'll summarize the whole story, but essentially there was this old hotel that was completely abandoned and it was just nothing. That a couple of my friend Cody's buddies found out about the place and figured out they could get in. So
by climbing a tree and jumping onto the roof and descending through a hole.
Meanwhile, it's like right next to a main street, so like it's you feel very stealthy for sure. But they basically everything was left there, like all the beds, all the like TVs, everything was left there. So
wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, like basically they just walked out and it was left. So they took all the mattresses out and they put them in the pool because there was like an indoor like giant courtyard that had a pool and like a play area and like all this stuff in it. So they figured out that they could put it in the pool and then they could do flips and stuff into the pool of mattresses. Well, one of the guys got the great idea of climbing onto the second story balcony, standing on the balcony and jumping into the pool, which was about 30
into
feet
the
down.
deep end of the pool.
To the deep end of the pool.
So a 10-foot deep pool, second floor, balcony.
Yes. So, which was extremely just risk-taking and it could be very dangerous, but I mean, the amount of fears that were conquered on that day was huge.
Yeah, that was unbelievably fun. And the whole experience of it, I mean, partially because we were such goody two-shoes Christian people, we didn't do anything crazy, like illegal or anything. Yeah. But the parking in a random parking lot and walking through the trees for a mile to get to it so no one knows you're there.
Trudging through the woods. Yeah.
Dude, it was terrifying and exciting and exhilarating. And then to get into this abandoned building and be like, this is the coolest thing I've ever done. It was so amazing. And I need, like, that stuff was so, I still talk about it. It's still a go-to story of mine because it was such a unique experience. It was so risky. Like, that was so risky. But
it was so risky. And it's hard because there's the part of you that's like, hey, don't do that. But find your own abandoned building. Not a physical abandoned building, but the theoretical abandoned building.
Find the thing that pushes you.
Yeah, metaphorical. That's what it's called. Yeah. Find the thing that pushes you. It's like the thing about the risk-taking nature as a whole is it's the thing that pushes beyond what is currently available. Not only in your life, but in the people around you. And so, but at the same time, it is inherently risky. So the opportunity for disaster is right there next to the opportunity for the greatest thing that could happen to you. And you can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
And so the idea of removing, basically squandering this part of masculinity that dares to push the boundary of what is and forcing it underground because it's basically thought of as bad is just, it's so damaging. We have no idea what it's going to generate years down the road.
Yeah. And per what the article is saying, how this is one of the reasons why the next generation of young men is struggling to get, they're lacking this. And one of the things that I've seen in youth ministry was that there's a lot of high school kids that when you say, you know, what do you want to be? Or what do you want to do? Is there anything that you're like passionate about that you want to do? They just go, not really. And what I think that derives from is the world feels very solved.
Yeah.
To a young person, it's like the world is so solved these days. Everything's known. You go on the internet, someone's done that, someone's thought of that. Everything I've ever thought was a good idea, someone's done. And they feel like they have nothing to contribute. They don't have the next great idea that they're going, oh, crayons, it's going to be big. Like, that's not, like, they're not doing that anymore. It all exists.
Oh, crayons. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, they need to watch some Shark Tank. People are coming up with new ideas all the time.
But I agree. Like, all the smart people all the business and entrepreneurs will say, oh, there's more opportunity now than ever before. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. But from a kid perspective, their entire life is just like handed to them so effortlessly. They're like, what else is there? I'm so satisfied. There's like nothing that needs to be done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what contributes to them completely losing their drive. It's something about this anti-masculine spirit that the education system has in it. This article mentions over-medicating kids when they're young boys. How bad of a problem is ADHD really? Is it a disorder? Or is it just a kid who...
Is it just 25% of young boys?
Yeah. It's not an attention deficit. I don't know. So people with ADHD can actually hyper-focus on different tasks as well. It's not like they can't focus. It's not an attention deficit. It's like, I don't know. I can't really speak much into it.
I have a comment exactly about this that I already have on my phone because I was reading it right before this podcast. That is literally talking about this exact thing.
Do it.
So it's a Jordan Peterson video. This is what I do in my free time.
Here he is.
Welcome back, Jordan.
Welcome back.
Welcome to the show.
It's his video about why he loves Great Britain. If you haven't seen it, it's very cool. It's like 15 minutes, easy one. So this guy who commented and now has a couple thousand upvotes in the comments, he says, as someone who was considered a, quote, thug or a wasted youth by a lot of people here in the UK, which in a lot of regards I am, so I understand it. I just want to say thank you to Jordan. I've never been academically smart. As in school, my mind would wander and I would just think about other things and never concentrate. Like a lot of kids, this led me to think I wasn't smart. So I just kind of gave up on school and got involved with the wrong crowd. However, I came across you and it made me realize that being a deep thinker is the biggest superpower one can have in this world. And that is so me. Like I did not pay attention to a thing in school.
Yeah.
I was sitting in my chair. I was in 75 different places. I don't know. I was never there. But then I found that if there's a topic I'm interested in, I am totally down to listen to many hours of someone talking about it. And it wasn't until I was 19 and I had flunked out of college that I discovered that about myself. But I had fumbled my way through high school. I flunked out of college. And then I realized there is something I'm actually very good at. And if I can just get into a topic, I can get really into a topic. And then I started to read a lot. And I was like, I can read and I love reading and I read deeply and I understand what I read. That's an amazing thing to just find out.
You have the gift of being able to retain what you read and what you hear immediately. I have to go over it many times for it to really sink in. Like you'll be listening to a podcast while you're working.
Yeah.
And you will know what the podcast was about. I'm like,
and successfully do my job. Yeah.
Yeah. I cannot do that. I really actually need to solely focus on one task. So, yeah.
And I didn't, just like this person, I did not know that in the school system. The school system just misses me. Because it's like, oh, did you not sit through this class you didn't care about for 40 minutes and do well? It's like, no, I didn't. I do not care about this. I can't do this. It's like, well, you fail. It's like, okay, fine. I guess I'm just a failure.
You fail.
Yeah.
Yeah. You blame the student. It's like, you're the failure here. It's like, really? Okay.
Right. Convince really smart people that they're dumb. That's not that person's fault, I don't think.
Yeah.
Entirely. I mean, for me, I didn't enjoy school. Like, I don't know. It was okay. I just did what I needed to do.
You were a good student, though.
Yeah. So, I mean, I totally understand your side of it as well. Which, yeah. Anyway.
I had a train of thought and it's gone.
2 times.
I know. I'm like scatterbrained today, I guess. Oh, I remember. The thing that I think is really important about all of this information is that it's really a call to good men and it's a call to fathers to, kind of stand up for their sons in not the traditional way that it's been. You need to have, like, fathers need to be involved in their sons' lives. I mean, especially like exactly what you were talking about, like even from an education perspective. It's like, if you've been down this road, And it's like, you've experienced, it's like, you gotta look out for what's going on here. Don't allow this garbage to be put in your son's head. It's like this, like, do not give in to the lies and just be like, all right, whatever. Mom's got it figured out. It's like, no, this is something that this is the area that you need to be paying attention to, is the important role of good, strong masculinity and to pass it on down to our sons. Like it only can be passed on, I believe, by other men, like truly, because they're the only ones who can understand it in the same way that only women can understand things for their daughters. Like there's going to be many things, Jeff, that you're not able to tell Kelly.
And I have told Ellen
cannot understand it.
So one of those little games, I don't know if you've ever played this. You ever played if I died, how long would it take you to remarry? Have you ever had that little debate with your wife?
I haven't played the game, but I can.
It's a fun one. So Ellen asked me one time, she was like,
tell me about it.
She was like, if I died, what would you do? And I was like, I think I'd weep for about a month. And then I would go, oh my gosh, I need a wife right freaking now. And I would marry the next person who's willing to say yes.
I didn't quite say that to Kelsey. I did say Davis will need a mother.
Because I cannot when Kelly starts asking questions about puberty, I have nothing. I've got zero. I have absolutely no clue. I don't want to have a clue. I want a wife and a mother for my daughter. It's like, she needs it. I will marry so fast. Anyone who's willing, anyone who's feminine and wants to be a mother. You're it. It's like, my standards have dropped so much from when I was single. It's like, will you marry me and be a mother? Yes. You're in.
That's also the hard thing is, it's like, if that were the case, it's like my ability to move on and like marry someone else would be so much farther than the necessity of my children in that scenario.
Yeah.
It's like, I would be pushed to at least look for a quality female role model that can be in their life.
Yeah.
At the very least, like I need to find some quality female friends.
Yes.
At the very least, it's like you cannot believe that you're going to have all the answers from 50% of the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's where, I don't know, again, on the point of like, I want, it's not that I want, it's I need my children to have a good mother to show them femininity, and I need to be a good father to show them masculinity. And both your sons and daughters too. I don't want my daughter to have a bad view of masculinity because I want her to know what good men look like, which means I need to model that for her. Mm-hmm. And that might be more important than it is for your son.
Almost. Yeah.
I don't want her dating someone who's not a good young man. Like when she gets to that point, I want to make sure I've shown that to her so that she understands it.
Yeah. It's a very big undertaking that seems like it's not a big deal, but it's a way bigger deal than it looks on the surface.
Absent fathers are one of the biggest issues facing the next generation is absent fathers.
Yeah, well, I think maybe a potential cause of that is that we've had it really good for the last at least decade. There was no reason. There's nothing to fight for us, for men, for boys in school, for just, I'm going to use a word I hate, cisgendered, heterosexual, whatever the hell. Boys who like girls and girls who like boys. We had it good for a long time. There's nothing to complain about. And so now the 0.1% of people who have something to complain about, the people who are gay or bisexual or whatever, they're the ones going to the board meetings and making a fuss. And now we've got all these new policies of gender neutral bathrooms, and you can have Leah Thomas, the swimmer,
break every record,
starting to break records because he decides this is so freaking stupid. I hate it. He decides he's a woman. He decides he's a girl. Starts racing against other girls and is destroying them.
He won the 4x4 swim.
Yeah,
by a minute. It wasn't close. He won by a minute.
Dominating. And wow. So I think there is stuff on the horizon that will force people to wake up and give them something to fight for. And hopefully we'll get some of these younger age, our young men, 18 to 24 years old, who are otherwise not doing much with their lives, something to fight for, something to wake them up and kind of get the manliness so deep within them, just to wake that up a little bit. Because I don't know, life is too good at the moment, and as you said, there's just nothing to drive them. There's no ambition. There's I don't know. We talked about this quote before. I forgot what the guy's name was, but I'm gonna botch this quote too. It's like good times.
The cycle.
No, bad times make strong people. Strong people make good times. Good times make weak people. Weak people make bad times. Mm-hmm. So
we've come out of the week and made a bad time.
It's hard to know at what point we turn the corner into like our time's going to get better now, or are they going to keep getting worse? Mm-hmm. I feel like maybe we're going to get a little better. I think everyone's a little sick of the lockdowns, a little sick of COVID being here. Everyone's had Omicron at this point.
That thing went everywhere so fast. Oh my gosh.
Do you know anyone who hasn't been sick already? It's ridiculous. And no one's getting tested anymore because everyone has the sniffles because Omicron's nothing. And that's what Dad and I were talking about today. Like we never got tested for anything. We never knew the name of the virus that caused our common colds that we got every year. This year it's called Omicron. We happen to know the name of this one. That's all it is.
Yeah, if you never knew it was called COVID, you would have never flinched.
Right. You wouldn't have thought anything about it. But the media has freaking terrified us, and the government has freaking terrified us, and we've lost our minds.
In short.
So, that's in short. So hopefully this is the end of the bad times, and young men will stop sitting on their haunches, letting life be good, and and life is getting worse, and we'll just start fighting for something. I hope something awakens the manly spirit that has been suppressed for years and gets us going again. But back to this article, I like the quote towards the end here. A world where masculine men flourish is a world where feminine women will flourish. I like that. We need to scream from the rooftops that yes, it's good to be a woman, but it's also good to be a man. That's step number one.
Yeah.
So our society has tried to, in my mind, take both of the extremes, girly girls and alpha males, and say that both of those are bad. Like if you want to be a stay-at-home mom, that's bad. You're ruining your life. You're wasting your life. You don't have a career. You're not contributing to society. Wasting your potential. If you're an alpha male, you're just a pig.
Toxic and
you're a toxic man. So now we're just stuck in the middle, and we've got, I don't know what we have. Well, I'm struggling to come up with words at the moment. If you can't tell,
it's even shocking to the fact that even the term feminist was like originally, I mean, it still means this, but it's not observed as such as to meaning the desire for equal rights from men and women, which is like, I can get behind that.
Right.
That totally makes absolute sense to me. That isn't a thing. Why is that not a thing?
Like, back when that started, it was like women are not allowed to go to colleges. And it's like, but really? That's crazy. It's like, yeah, we should not be doing that. But that is not what we're fighting for these days.
That's where all of that overcorrection, where it's gone to the point of, oh, well, women are the superior sex and men are terrible beings. And we need to squash masculinity as a whole. And maybe they won't come out and say it, but it is
that's the feeling.
Speak louder than words. Yeah. And when your actions are calling for the destruction of men, essentially, it's like, what else are you supposed to think? It's like, this is not the answer. It's like, in the same way that it is not the answer for women to have basically no ability to do anything. It's like, no, you should have the absolute right to go have a career and become an engineer and be the top of your field, who, be the woman who is the first person to take a picture of a black hole. It's like, yeah, go be that person. But at the same time, you are also the only people that can make people. And that's like really crazy good.
The Ben Shapiro and
Jordan
Peterson conversation.
He comes back.
Jordan Peterson talked. Yeah, he's back. He talked about that exact thing where these very smart women became lawyers and worked their butts off 80, 90 hours a week, 2 a.m. phone calls to their client in China because they are doing a merger or whatever, business merger. And it's just a hypothetical scenario, but probably based on a true scenario that he counseled someone through. They worked super hard, kept their head down, kept going, kept climbing the ladder. Then they reached age 30 and realized, well, I'm at the top of the ladder now.
And if I ever want to have a kid, it has to be now.
Exactly.
And the window it's tiny.
Women are meant to be giving birth in their early 20s. That's when their bodies are most ready for it.
Well, related to this is even with everything that Katie and I have gone through, when you actually look at fertility as a whole, the number of chances and the window is crazy small. People are like, you got time. Well, only when you get 12 chances a year. 12.
Yes.
That's it. You get 12 chances. Oh, yep, that one last month didn't work. Got to wait another month.
That's right.
Maybe it'll work. Oh, no, didn't work. Try again. It's like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean I got all the time in the world? I don't have all the time in the world. Are you insane?
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're 34 and it's extremely dangerous, not only to your personal health, but to the health of your child to try and have a baby. It's like,
yeah,
it's just reality. It's just reality.
It is.
Yeah. And now, people are getting married later. I think the population of California declined for the first time ever this year. And that's due to a number of factors, people moving out.
Well, the population of the whole United States declined.
Did it really?
Yeah. 2020, we went negative in population size.
Sheesh.
For the first time ever.
We're not having kids anymore. Which is bad, despite all the climate alarmists thinking that not having kids is a good way to.
Or we're having one kid.
I mean, technically,
one kid.
You're technically not wrong.
Yeah, reduce your carbon footprint by 1/8 billionth.
Nailed it.
Yeah, that's great. So, our society discourages women from being womanly, from being homemakers, from child rearing. Everyone wants to have a successful career. And then Jordan Peterson in that video said women eventually wake up, some of them eventually wake up and realize that this isn't what they want anymore. They want something in their nature woke up and said, wait, I'm a woman. I want to have kids. Or, and it was wasn't too late, but it was later than they might have preferred for other people having kids. Yeah. So you're in your 30s now.
This is not to say every woman will have this experience. It's just likely that you will. There's probably exceptions. That's fine.
Oh, I'm sure there are. But it's also very interesting being a heterosexual male. I want women to be women.
I'm attracted.
Is that so controversial to be like, I want women to be women? Is that...
Yeah, short haircuts.
Why does a high school quarterback get all the girls?
Or, okay, that's a bad way of saying that. I should say traditionally feminine. I want women to be traditionally feminine.
Yes.
Right. But why does the alpha male in every high school, every college get all the girls? Because they're attracted to something there. There's something there that women
built
like.
Very deep into the system that likes
women
like manly men. Almost all of them.
Successful actor, a successful musician. John Mayer has slept with.
Tiger
I forgot
Woods.
what he said. Tiger Woods. Yeah.
Oh my word, Tiger Woods.
He set the record, I think.
Good night.
You don't have to do anything. You don't have to be quick-witted. You don't have to be attractive. You just have to.
You don't have to be a good partner.
No, you just have to be powerful, or perceived as powerful, or perceived as
the top of the food,
whatever it is, the top of the food chain. Yeah, it's nature. It's just how it works.
And the issue is observing it and speaking it out has become negative. It's like, I'm just informing you that this is the way we as humans operate. Like, well, we shouldn't. And it's like, that's fine. You can take it up with God, but I'm just telling you that's what we do.
There is a portion of the equation. There are many feminine traits that will definitely benefit men. Absolutely, as a man, there are certain traits in women, like more empathetic. It's like if you're a more empathetic man, you typically, can do pretty well in life as a whole. You can understand things that you would never be able to if you were just like, I don't care about anyone's feelings. And simultaneously, there are things from a masculine nature, like the ability to just stand up for themselves in a job and be like, no, I deserve more. It's like, that's not right. A feminine trait predominantly.
Don't do that as well as we do.
And so it's like, that would benefit women. It's like, so the idea of like even squashing an entire, half of the sexes essentially is going to actually not only damage men, which it definitely will, but it also is going to damage aspects of femininity as a whole.
Yeah. Right. It's almost like we were designed to need each other. Crazy.
It is.
Neither one is perfect as it is, but you come together as one whole.
Yeah.
Yes.
A whole, halves thing.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. My last little comment, because we should wrap this up, is that another thing I hate about being all this pro transgender stuff is that the only issues ever arise when a man transitions into a woman, mainly in athletics, and they start dominating. Like this is never a problem when a woman transitions into a man. You never see a how do you freaking phrase it? A person who was born a woman transition to a man and start dominating male athletics.
Yeah,
that does not happen,
especially the top.
Yeah, but you do see it happen the other way around. So that proves that men are better women than women.
That's the Jeremy Boring quote. He said as soon as it started happening, he's like, all the best women will be men.
I'm being hyperbolic, obviously. But
the first 4-star general that's a woman is a man.
Yeah.
It's like...
Exactly. And how Caitlyn Jenner can win Woman of the Year.
Up. Yeah,
her first year being a woman.
She's been doing this for 365 days.
That's the Dave Chappelle joke.
It's like, bitch has been out here for 25 years trying.
You have practically no experience, and yet you win?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So,
man.
And all of those examples are men transitioning into women.
Yeah.
So.
But I think the whole idea of like masculinity, is that even a word?
Yeah, yes. Masculinity. It's in this article.
How much bourbon have you had?
It's right there.
I haven't had that much. I still have so much left. My brain just rejected that as a reality.
Throw out that as your reality.
Masculinity. To just reject that as a whole is just going to be so damaging, and we need to communicate as much as we can. We need to shout it from the rooftops, exactly as what he said, that it's good to be a woman, and it is also equally good for men to be men.
Yep. So our message to our sons
and daughters,
and to your daughter is be Kelly. You're going to encourage her to be a woman, a girly girl, if you so choose. Something tells me she's going to be
unbelievably girly.
I was going to actually not say that.
You say tomboy?
Kind of more tomboyish, yeah. I don't know. We'll
Dude, she found my niece's makeup. My niece is 4. And every time we were like, where's Kelly? She's in Amelia's room and she is putting makeup on. She we had to hide all of it. She was so obsessed with it. We were like, oh my goodness, child, stop.
You're only 2.
Yeah.
My word.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Who knows? At this point, it's too early to tell, but we will see.
Who knows? She might start playing with trucks next week. You don't know.
I know. And if she does, I'm going to slap her in the face and say, you're a girl, damn it. And that's going to be the end of it. Because I'm a good dad.
That's totally normal for young kids. Like, little boys want to play with dolls. I played with Barbies when I was a little boy.
If they're around, you'll play with them. They're
just
not choosy.
Yeah, it's imagineering devices.
Yes,
what they are.
Davis plays with anything we put in front of him.
Yeah.
So he's just curious.
Should get him a doll.
Well, he grabbed the Barbie, so he's a girl. It's like he grabbed the toy that was in the room. Like, that's just how kids work,
He didn't know. He didn't know he was becoming a girl at that moment.
Yeah.
That's child abuse when parents do that. Anyway, this has been a little over an hour. So
yeah,
it's pretty good. We did do a little test live stream. This has all been live streamed to YouTube. And I'm also posting the videos on YouTube after the fact. So if you're a person who prefers to watch rather than listen, you can go to youtube.com. I don't know what the URL is off the top of my head. It's Dad's Diapers and Drinks. So find us. That's the name of the channel. It's got our logo on it. You can find it. And then follow us on the socials that I haven't touched Instagram in a while. Twitter, I guess we're most active on Twitter.
I just had a social media marketing person message me.
What?
Interesting.
On Twitter.
By all means.
Weird.
I'm going to find out if they're legit or not. Might be interested in that. We will see.
And Facebook, I deleted from my phone after the Rittenhouse verdict because I was just getting mad at people. So
we're not going to open that can.
No.
Leave that one closed.
No, we'll go on for another hour. So anyway, Instagram automatically shares stuff to Facebook. I'm not ever going to be actually on Facebook, just so you know.
But you can see the Instagram posts there as well.
Yes.
Right. Anyway, that's going to do it for us this week. We will talk at you next week. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Cheers.